talk about my top 10 movies. I'm gonna on the TamBOTC channel, and this is being used as a live stream to get this across uploaded faster, as well as to see it in the progress as I play some Fortnite. Okay, very rude of you. That's clearly a bot also. Come on. Come on, I want you to do it. Come on. Where are you going? You stupid bot. You're gonna make me lose my Velociraptor friend. No, you're not going anywhere. Gotcha. Jerk. Yeah, where's my... There he is. I'm gonna call my Velociraptor Riptar. It's gonna be the stinking dinosaur from Rugrats. The one that looks like Godzilla. I'd be careful doing that. Alright. I'm gonna start with 2 honorable mentions. The first one is... There's a lot of honorable mentions, to be honest, but the 2 that didn't make the list, sadly, is going to be The Thing with Kurt Russell. Love that movie, absolutely. One of my favorite horrors. Fantastic movie. I love anything by pretty much Airplane, I love Naked Gun, and I love anything by, I forgot his name. Can't believe Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks. I can't believe I forgot his name for a second there. Love his comedic films. They're all fantastic. I don't know which one's my favorite of his. I love the Robin Hood and Blazing Saddles and Spaceballs. Those are probably his top ones, as well as Young Frankenstein's awesome too. History of the World's awesome. Okay, they're all awesome. I'm surprised that a Monty Python film won't make it, sadly. Even though I think The Holy Grail is like one of my favorite comedic movies ever. Of all time. There is also, we're going to follow along the side of the storm. Not too close, though, because I don't want the raptor being dumb and, you know. He's being dumb anyway. Come on. Stop eating the trees. Come on. Come on. I can't believe that, there are a bunch of superhero movies that might not make it. Though I would really love for a lot of them to make the list. I want my top 10 to have a lot of variety, and of course Shutter Island, anything with Jake Gyllenhaal. I love a lot of Jake Gyllenhaal's latest stuff. I love a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio's latest stuff. Shutter Island, the reason I brought that up was that movie was so close to making this list. Hell, I would even put that as number 1. The reason is that I didn't, as well as I would put a bunch of Disney movies on here, like old animated movies, but I had to limit it. Same with Pixar. But I limited it down to 10. There's some building going on over there. And, yeah, let's get this list going. Okay, don't do this to me. Well, he's dead. Gosh darn it, Velociraptor. Why'd you have to be dumb? Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. Oh, or will he? I have no clue. So focused on the map, I'm not focusing on anything else. He's alive. I don't think he's got much health, though. Yep, of course. I had a feeling that would happen. Where was that from? That was probably from there. What if I got this guy? Now we have a Velociraptor and this man. Oh, is he gonna try and run us over? Is that what he's gonna do? Stick down here. Okay, so let's get into the top 10. So number 10 is Evil Dead 2. I had to put some sort of comedy slash horror, so I put a little of both. Evil Dead 2 is awesome. House almost made it. I grew up with House. I really love the first House movie. I had a lot of fun with it, but I love Evil Dead 2. I love Bruce Campbell's Ash. I love all the Evil Dead or Army of Darkness movies, and even the show. And Bruce Campbell's just an awesome actor. I love his charisma, his personality. He just lends a lot of personality to his roles. A couple other movies I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Where are you shooting me from? Come on, bring it on. Where did they shoot me from? Is that them? No. Is it this jerk? Can't all be winners. How much is their health at? 8. They're probably not going to survive for much longer, especially since they're giving away their cover. And I know the other person was on the top of the bridge there, where they might heal in time. So let's choose a different character, move on to the next movie. But I just want to say that I love the comedy in Evil Dead 2. I think it balances. Sam Raimi finds his right, the right personality he lends to the movie, and just the right formula he sticks to, where he's got a great blend of horror and comedy, and it's just paced very well for his movie. I think he does a great job blending the boat too, and I just really enjoyed the entertainment value is up there. The characters are so much fun and wacky, but also give the right amount of personality and character development, acting that just works for the movie. All right, let's do the Joker. Why not? But yeah, I love that movie. Number 9, I'm going to move on to Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one, another Sam Raimi movie. So Spider-Man 2 is a fantastic movie. Yeah, this is loud, by the way. But Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 was just all around. Once again, it has the great blend that it's always the second movie too that like Sam Raimi finds his right balance of what makes his movies work. And Spider-Man 2 had one of the best villains and villain performances by Doc Ock with some of the coolest fight scenes, like the train scene. Tobey Maguire, while he's a lot more shy and laid back, he's not as quippy as the other Spider-Mans, but I think he works just perfectly for this. I think he works better as a Peter Parker, at least of a Peter Parker that we know and love from the past, in the 60s and such, era kind of Spider-Man, opposed to like a more modern Spider-Man take. Maybe Tom Holland fills that one better. But yeah, he really works for that. I love the characters. The character development is fantastic. It's a very colorful. It's actually got CGI that holds up fairly well, like compared to a lot of the superhero movies we see nowadays. It holds up really well still. It's just all around like a very good superhero movie, one of the best, if not the best. And they just, once again, Sam Raimi finds that right balance. There's a lot of big things that happen in this movie. I still like Spider-Man 3, but 2 is the definitive better movie. 3 isn't my favorite of them. I'm just saying that I do enjoy Spider-Man 3. I find a lot of enjoyment out of Spider-Man 3. But I wouldn't say it's the best. I think 2 is the best. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that Sam Raimi found worked with this film, just like he did with Evil Dead 2. He found his right blend of comedy, horror, and any other elements that work for his Evil Dead 2 or his Spider-Man 2. He found the right amount of personality, charisma, and just everything else that works for that. All the characters have such personality and are all very colorful characters for that series. I'm just glad he found his right blend for that. Oh, moving on to number 8. Number 8 is going to be Fox and the Hound, Disney's Fox and the Hound. So many great Disney movies. I love Aladdin, and I even grew to love Zootopia. And I will hopefully do animes and TV shows for my next list to talk about. Or my next lists, so that I can get into those and what my favorites there are in those categories. But when it comes to Fox and the Hound, this is one I actually wanted to make a separate video on, because this was the only movie for the longest time to make me cry. This was the only movie that got me to cry. E.T. never did, which is surprising because my grandfather cried during that movie, and I never cried during like other like really sad or dramatic movies. I cry more often to movies like that because I'm able to relate more with the characters and the situations, because after losing my grandmother, like, I watched the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man again, and I actually cried during the Uncle Ben's death scene, because I was able to relate more with it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have affected me back in the day. But back in the day, I was affected by Fox and the Hound. Such a really good characters. Once again, I love the development. I love the actors. Like, literally everything Kurt Russell is in, I absolutely love. Escape from New York, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Hateful Eight, you name it. I just love a lot of his roles. I can't think of one I don't love. Yeah, I'm just so surprised that this movie got to me. And it's during, like, the grandmother-looking character, the older lady in the movie, kind of looks like an animated version of my grandmother. And, it's that scene where she's singing about having to put her friend Todd out in the wild. This is where he belongs. That's where he'll be most safe, and she won't have to endure any consequences or sadness besides what she was in that scene. And I just found it very heart-wrenching, very sad moment. And while I didn't have anything like that in my life until later, I did have that where the movie, I can relate to the movie more, because I did have to, sadly, like, especially after my grandmother passed away, we had to give away some of our pets, our pet Figaro and our pet Oreo, to cats, to some people, for a new home. And it was just a really, like, that moment hit me, and it reminded me once again of Fox and the Hound. And I think Fox the Hound hits that spot again, as well as loss and such. Literally at the beginning, Todd loses his mother. It's like Bambi, but Bambi's mother dies at the beginning of the film. That movie's got some dark moments sometimes. It's not the darkest Disney movie, of course not. Like, I would say Hunchback of Notre Dame is probably one of their darkest. And that's a great movie. But man, I love Fox and the Hound. I love its characters. When it has a dark moment, it is pretty good, like the bear scene, and the scene where Fox is literally shown the skins and hides of animals from the wildlife that were hunted down by the hunter guy there. I don't remember their name. I don't think they had a name other than Old Man and Old Woman. I can't remember what they were called in the credits. But yeah, such a good movie. I love the friendship between the Fox and the Hound, and of course, like, there's multiple moments that tear me up. Well, that scene does tear me up with the lady bringing Todd somewhere where she thinks he'll be safest, and she can't keep him around any longer. And I can relate to that more now. But not only that, but I relate to the hold on a sec. I'm back. Sorry about that. Forgot it was even Saturday, to be honest. But, we had a problem with some of the food. I forgot that it came today. I went to the store anyways, I think, when, they came by, so I probably wouldn't have known either way. Do I want to keep this bow? I'm not sure. And yeah, I want to get back to this. But Fox and the Hound, such the other moment that I probably cry to now. I don't want this bow. Excuse me. So the other movie that I cry to now is probably the one where after Todd is finished fighting off the bear and he falls down the waterfall. Spoilers, by the way. His friend, the Hound, or Copper, comes over, seeing him pretty wounded, pretty out of energy and such, and the hunter is about to, do him in. Somebody's here, I think. But, nope. Ooh, thanks for that, though. Much appreciated. But, now I want to take this. I did get something slightly better. Okay. Nope. Everybody, I swear, everybody who wears that outfit... Are you serious? Another guy? On, try and poke up that sticking thing. Dink. You know, I might use your health packs. Thanks for them, by the way. Oh, there's plenty of them too. Thanks a lot. But, yeah, Fox and the Hound was just such an emotional movie. I had a lot of emotions attached to it, especially the Copper defending Todd scene. That gets me nowadays, too. So there's two scenes now. That didn't get me before, but it gets me now. But I love Fox and the Hound. I love the Robin Hood movie, too. That's a great movie, as well as about Great Mouse Detective. Now, let's move on to number 7, I believe. Yeah, number 7 is the horror movie known as Alien. The first one. I love Aliens, don't get me wrong, it's a great movie. And next to it is Terminator 2, is like two of the best action movies of all time. But, man, there's just something about Alien that still sticks with me. I think it's because of the atmosphere and how believable the characters are, how grounded the movie kind of feels, to an extent that is. That it just still sticks with me. The scares, I never get scared by the vent scene, but I do by the scene where the arm just drops out of nowhere and it blends in with the machinery at the end of the movie. Such a good movie. Is that a big chug? That might be. Such great atmosphere. I love Alien Isolation because it like really lives up to that movie, and I think its canon is great. It definitely feels like a movie that deserves to be part of the canon of the universe, where I don't think Resurrection 3 or any of the other movies deserve to be, because they garbo. Yeah, and even like Alien, like what was the other one? Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I hate those movies too. Those movies are so stupid. I think they're stupid, at least. This is just me personally, though. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the first Alien. I love its atmosphere. It sticks with me to this day. Just such a great horror movie that just stays with me and will stay with me for a long time. I watched that when I was way too young to watch it, and I love the performances, I love the development, how Sigourney Weaver... I know Sigourney Weaver is much cooler in the sequel, but I do love her development in this movie too. She gets a lot more courage, and she becomes more bold, and she just becomes more capable of leading everybody throughout the rest of the movie, where she kind of had other people leading her instead. Hopefully that wolf didn't see me. She had other people leading her instead. How many people are left? 7? I'm guessing we have a bunch of sweaty tryhards. Yeah. Alien. 7. Number 7. Hopefully nobody sees me. Let's move on to number 6. This was a hard one. I would have chosen like one of the Terminator movies, but I had to go with the one Arnold movie that I love, and I love Arnold Schwarzenegger because he brings so much character and personality to his roles. I think he is a good actor when it comes to his expressions and stuff, more so than his voice, but he still just retains a lot of charisma and personality. He's just a character in of itself whenever he's on screen. I love him. And he's got so many iconic, memorable, quotable lines that I love. So I can't help but put Conan the Barbarian on this list. As I'm a big Conan fan, I still collect a lot of the comic books, such. I think Arnold's the perfect Conan. I never cared for the reboot version. I do like Conan the Destroyer. It's a perfect like Dungeons and Dragons film for those who love Dungeons and Dragons. I have that entire cartoon set of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, by the way, all 27 episodes. So there's that too. Man, what a fantastic movie. Like, some of the best music in any film to date. And just some of the best characters too. Love the movie. Love it, love it, love it. I doubt I'm gonna win. Because I'm pretty sure we have a bunch of sweaty tryhards. Ooh, somebody didn't loot this building. There we go. So, let's make sure everything's reloaded. Okay. I don't have a very good assault rifle or shotgun, but we'll make do with what we got. So, it's only 3 people. Probably wait for them to make the first move. Hopefully they're not in here. I don't think they are, actually. Ooh. So, I think one of them's up there. know you were over there. I saw your footsteps. Ah, I almost had you. Okay, maybe not really, but I should hop around more too. He's got that skin that my friend hates went back on sale because that was a pretty rare skin for the longest time. Let's be Doctor Doom. People love Doctor Doom, am I right? So, Conan is just, it looks great. I love the costume designs. The music is some of the best in movie history. I love the characters, the character development. It's all really fantastic. I love the world building of that movie. So good. My personal favorite Arnold movie of all time. Love it. It's an absolutely good movie, Conan. And I grow to love that movie still. I even played since the Exiles game went on Game Pass, I've been playing that. I love that game too. That's dope. I wish I could record it, but my Elgato hates me, so there's that. I'm gonna try and get a win with Doctor Doom so I can go on my throne. So let's move on to number 5, Toy Story. Toy Story was the first movie I saw in theaters as a kid. I even had costumes of Buzz Lightyear and Woody I dressed up as. And as well as figures and such of the characters. I collect so much from that. It was such a big deal, and I still love that movie to this day. I probably like the second one better now, as I think it ages the best. Where you can kind of see the CGI doesn't age quite as well in Toy Story, but it ages well because of the characters, the world, how colorful and vibrant it is. And just how fantastic of a Pixar slash animated kids movie that it is, and how big a deal it is to its respectable genre. It is such a fantastic movie. I have a lot of fun with it. I still love it today. And I just got a really personal, nostalgic connection to Toy Story. Such a fantastic series. Hope that people aren't landed where I want to be. So we will kill them. All will bow before doom. Nobody disrespects Dr. Doom. Alright, let's get moving. But let's move on. Toy Story was number 5. Move on to number 4. Another animated movie and another Disney movie. I know I said I wanted more variety, but I had to put this on the list. The reason I had the Fox and the Hound was just how much importance and connection I have to that movie. But Lion King, just like Toy Story, was a movie I grew up with. I have a lot of nostalgic connection to. I love the music. I still sing a lot of it today. I don't agree with nostalgia critics' hate of Lion King's Hakuna Matata song. But I'm not... That's just my opinion, once again. Just like that's his opinion. The reason I like that song is how upbeat and joyous it is. I do find it very catchy. I do really enjoy it. And it's meant to be more of a song for fun, where I think kind of picking on it is redundant and dumb, because the song is meant to be joyous and fun and have kind of a more upbeat take to it. And I don't think it's going for those kind of professional singers, of course, or vocalists, I should say. But yeah, I just found it kind of silly that he picked on the song a lot. I don't agree, but that's just my opinion, and that's his opinion. So we'll go our separate ways. It's just, it kind of no longer becomes an opinion when you keep bragging about it and making it a big deal on your channel. So I don't know if that's quite as accurate anymore for him, but it probably still counts as being just subjective. But he does kind of push it a little too far sometimes into the other territory. Of like almost coming across as objective rather than subjective. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the Lion King movie. I love the characters, the colors, the songs. I think that it's still a really nice looking film. Okay, who the heck is coming up on me? Of course it's a flare. Oh, it's not a flare. What? What? That seems so much like a flare. But, just all around great visuals and everything. Great characters. Visuals in the terms of art style. And a lot of emotional moments. I never cried during, certain characters' death, though. That being Mufasa. But it's still a really good movie. I still have a lot of fun with it. I love the performances. Everyone gives 1,000,000% to their characters, making them super iconic and memorable. I love it. All around fantastic movie, all around fantastic characters, performances. It's got, once again, that thing I love with character development and story. It does a lot of like great messages that the Lion King doesn't do very well or even got rid of, such as you can either run for the past or learn from it, stuff like that. And I love everything that movie does in general with its messages and such. And that's how you should do it, where it's not shoved and forced down your throat or in your face like a lot of movies try to do nowadays. Thanks. A lot of movies nowadays feel super forced with their messages, or the messages just don't come across written in the best way. They come across more harsh or soulless. And it just kind of sucks. Sucks out the fun, character, and meaningfulness of the story. But yeah, Lion King has to be my number 4. So let's move on to number 3. Number 3 favorite movie of all time. This is getting down to my big 3. Once again, my personal favorites, of course. I have to say, this is gonna be a big one because I remember having so many discussions with my friends about like what's the best in this series. But I personally attach to, apparently my bounty's done. I personally attach to the Fellowship of the Ring of the Lord of the Rings series, and I'll get into why. I'll also touch on, of course, like I did with previous movies on this list, why I think that in the respectable series. For Fellowship, for me, it's got so many iconic lines in it alone. I love that opening. They're all really long movies, and I think when action hits in that movie, opposed to Return of the King, which is probably more definitively the best and the one that ages the best, but I love the Fellowship of the Ring because of its build-up. It's a slow burn movie. It focuses on the character development. It's very simple compared to how ridiculous the movies go later. And if you've seen like even like Holden Hardman's videos with his friend, he liked the first Lord of the Rings because he was able to follow it better, where they started getting more crazy. And while I love how ridiculous they get with the world building and such later, I think the first one is just the best because of that slow burn. And like when a action scene hits, it hits. Like the Balrog scene is one of the coolest and still really effective scenes in a movie I've seen in the longest time. That movie hits that part, sorry, hits really hard. Such a cool scene. And yeah, I just love how, like, where Return of the King, most of the movie is action. It's kind of like the third John Wick, where it's like most of that movie is action. The action doesn't hit quite as hard, and while I still really love it, I can see for some people getting kind of sick of it because most of it is action. It's kind of, it's not exactly like it, of course. I'm not saying this is exactly like, I'm just using this as an example, but it's like when you're watching the action in a Michael Bay Transformers and the action is almost non-stop. You kind of want some more breathing room, and while these movies have breathing room, they have much better writing and characters than Transformers, for certain. But yeah, I really think that the Fellowship has such a good pacing to it that when the action hits, it hits hard. And it's just such great character development, such great character. Oh god. Nope, I don't want to talk to you. See you later, alligator. No, I don't want to talk to you. Go away. I don't want you to kill me. No. I got this far. Yeah, I just really enjoyed The Fellowship. I can watch that any day. I know it's really long. I think I'm gonna go with the tactical instead. But man, I love stuff that's really mysterious too, like the build up and mystery of stuff in general. And one of my favorite the genre to horror is the fear of the unknown, kind of like what Silent Hill does. It's what I love about scenes like the Balrog. What the hell is this thing? There's just a light at the end of this giant open corridor of pillars. They don't see it. You even see Legolas kind of stressing out to aim for something, because what is it? And everybody's got such a fear and shock on their face. I love the acting and what everybody lends to the parts of that movie. And Return of the King has some of that stuff. It just doesn't last as long, and they do things like they make Gimli more comedic. He's more the comedy relief in the later films and such. And they do, I know Fellowship has its problems where it doesn't entirely follow the book. None of them entirely, they still follow the book pretty accurately to an extent, except for all the stuff cut out. But there is stuff that I think annoyed me more in the later two films. Take for example, I think Faramir, the brother to Boromir, was kind of an ass in the Two Towers, where in the book I believe he was a lot nicer in the book to Frodo and Sam. He wasn't as much a jerk. It was just a really weird character stuff to drive the plot. It felt forced. And then of course Saruman dies way too early, opposed to where he actually dies in the book. It's still a great moment. It just, if you read the book, you know he doesn't die there, and I guess it kinda hits you if you've read the book. It is a lot of stuff yeah, if you read the book, blah blah blah, and I know it's different interpretation, Peter Jackson. I love the look of the films, by the way, I forgot to say that. I love the look that Peter Jackson brings to the films. So cool. I love Sauron's design. Sauron looks so dope. I have a pop figure of Sauron. He's so dope even as a pop figure. I love it. I love it. Just such a good movie. I would have put one of the Harry Potter movies, of course, on this list, but I'm sadly going to have to say there's no Harry Potter movie, so sorry. But I would say that I think the second Deathly Hallows or Prisoner of Azkaban, I think the reason I would no longer do Prisoner of Azkaban is because, once again, if you're reading the book is way better than the movie, and second, Deathly Hallows Part 2 hits hard. And I won't say why, even though a lot of people know a lot of the stuff nowadays, but I still think it's a movie you ought to watch now. Such a good movie. I would, of course, watch the others first, but man, that movie hits hard. Both with its plot twists and its character moments. So good, so good. Its action's great too. And I think it does a great job with its action. It doesn't have too much action, it's just paced well enough. And I think the action's more deserving because it's a two-part part of the series. So you got a lot more of the laid-back talking parts in the first Deathly Hallows part. So I think it's more earned here compared to where Lord of the Rings is an entire really long movie that's practically 4 hours or whatever. Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring, fantastic movie. I also think if you watch Fellowship of the Ring on its own, you know how like, and it's of course it's all fantasy, so it's not meant to really be realistic. If you watch the epic rap battle, I do think that. Okay, yeah, really. Is that a player or a bot? I think that's a bot. Yeah, that's a bot. That sucks. Which means players probably heard that. Pick that up. Pick that up. Let's get the heck out of here. Get somewhere safe. Can I be in here safely? Is the circle going to close in on me? See how close it gets. Okay, it's going to get too close. Sit here a bit and wait. But those are my reasons why I absolutely love Fellowship. What I was saying was, if you watch Fellowship on its own, it has a lot of guts. With like the not letting characters die is like the epic rap battle said from George R. R. Martin's side. Characters do die in that first Fellowship. Or at least some of them look like they die and others do legitimately die, like Boromir. And it's got one of the most memorable, in my opinion, Sean Bean deaths. One of the coolest. And with, and while it's predictable, it's still just really cool. And of course we got Gandalf and his noble sacrifice, which is dope. Just so many memorable lines, once again, iconic lines. Is it secret? Is it safe? The entire monologue at the beginning with the rings of power. And it's just such good world building and everything in general. I love it. Oh, now there's only 3 people besides me. Okay. We want to use the hills to kind of... Okay, somebody died here. Man, stupid Dr. Doom. Such big, heavy, stomping feet. But yeah, I really enjoyed Lord of the Rings in general. So let's move on to my number 2 movie of all time. And that's gotta be Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. I legitimately watched that movie like every day for a while there. Like, that was one of my favorite movies of all time for the longest time. I loved it. And I love its characters, I love its character moments, its development. Everything about it was fantastic. Okay. Let's hope that the person isn't hiding in these bushes over here. But yeah, okay, they haven't killed each other yet. I usually like doing this the stealthy way. Love Darth Vader's got more menace and character to him. The plot twist in that movie is one of the most memorable and iconic in movie history, and has become such a big deal to just the Star Wars community in general, and just like culture in general. Such a big moment. I blend in because I'm green. Okay, jerk. There was a dude behind me, shot the stinking bush. What's the other person? Where are they? We have to transform and ascend to, God, Emperor Doom. Because of that. How did they know I was there? Anyways, Empire is just such a fantastically done movie with great pacing, character, personality, world building, and everything. It's just, I have a lot of fun with that movie every time. I love its quotes, plot twist. The characters are much better. You know how people had problems with Mark Hamill's acting in the first one nowadays, opposed to back then, where you can kind of be like, oh, that's 70s acting. He's kind of whiny and annoying. He was much better in Empire Strikes Back. And of course, Yoda is just great. The character development is fantastic in this movie. And I know it's sequel baits with Return of the Jedi, and I do really like Return of the Jedi. But yeah, just fantastic movie. And I highly recommend it, for sure. There's a reason why it's become so synonymous and fondly looked back on amongst the Star Wars community. It's just a really well done, put together movie. And it has so much charm, personality, and character to it that will never be forgotten. Let's go to my friend's favorite place. But yeah, that movie is just really... I don't know what to say. I want to watch it again too, as I'm speaking about it. So the next movie... Is my green actually showing up on the window from here? It is. What the heck? Oh, somebody land here? Try and land here now. Okay. How was that taking so long? Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of players here. At least they'll be too busy trying to kill each other. Yeah, just man, I can't think enough of that, just how brilliant that movie is in general. I have so much fond memories of it. I grew up watching that as well. I know it didn't come out my time, but my parents had a lot of like old just movies and games and such, game consoles in general sitting around the house, that I was raised kind of with those, and we had all that stuff with us, which is dope. So I was able to play and interact with all that stuff whenever I could. Loved it. Absolutely loved that movie. Loved its characters. And just... Darth Vader is one of the most memorable villains to this day. Sorry if I repeat myself a lot. I do have that problem sometimes. And I do apologize for when I have it. That's just me. Yeah, I hope that we get another fantastic Star Wars like that sometime in the future. I don't think I'll be taking that bow. Probably keep my shotgun out in case. These people will soon know the meaning of doom. They run into me. lot going on right there. Nope. Alright, there we go. Now this place all belongs to Doom. Scared that person, I bet. And they're watching me right now. So, anyways, let's get to number 1. I know I've been holding out on this video when I get moments like that. But I'm sorry, and we can get right back to it. So, my number 1 movie, and I know this is gonna sound predictable, I was watching a video on this movie on the movie trilogy. I think it was a Vivo, his name was Vivo or something, I can't remember. Was talking about the dialogue in these movies, how everybody spouts exposition and such, and has speeches prepared. It's not too unlikely. I have a lot of family members, people in my family that does that. And like literally I have a stepfather who legitimately always has some sort of goddamn speech ready. And sometimes you kind of get that anyways when you're having discussions or arguments with friends or something. So I don't think it's too unlikely and too unrealistic. And if that's your only problem with the movie, and I know it's in the movie a lot, here's my next point. You know how people love Mass Effect, and a lot of the reason is probably for the character development and a lot of the conversational parts of Mass Effect? It's kind of what this series is to me, because I do enjoy those parts, and they are like very memorable. They come off as iconic anyways, and I do think that there's a lot of personality. There's actually a lot of funny moments to this series. I was watching it last night with a friend of mine, matter of fact, the second movie in this series, and I disagree. I think this movie series is pretty funny and knows what it is. It does have great charm and character, and yes, it takes itself seriously, but I think it has a very good balance and pacing between. It's kind of that same thing I was saying with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It finds just that right amount, that right balance between what genre it wants to be or mimic, the right balance between comedy and horror that Evil Dead 2 has, or the superhero actions, motivations, and heroics and such, and messages that Spider-Man 2 has. This is the same thing with my number 1 movie, and while this movie has other mistakes, such as stuff like Batman dropping on the van in a different direction, or Joker's hand switching from one side, or seeing one of the cameras briefly in a one side mirror or two side mirror, whatever.